Hey everyone, I'm playing some more Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered on the PS4. In this footage I'm playing on the Crossfire map as the Marine faction. And I'm choosing this footage for a couple of reasons. One is the setting, the desert setting, really reminds me of the first act of Metal Gear Solid 4. And I bring that up because in that game, you could customize certain weapons that Snake carried, specifically the M4 and certain other guns, but the M4 stands out. And you could, for example, choose between two different sights, between two different foregrips. You could have like a laser aiming module. I think you could also put like, or maybe in lieu of the laser aiming module, you could have like a flashlight that actually blinded enemies. You could choose to equip your M4 with a suppressor or not. I think you might have been able to choose between two different stocks. Maybe it's just my imagination, but that type of weapon customization was unparalleled in the series up to that point. And that kind of leads me into the topic of this video, which is the weapon customization that's been recently unveiled. So I think at one point it was called the Workbench, but basically it's very similar to the gun customization that's in the 2012 Medal of Honor Warfighter game. So obviously I'm not the only person to notice the resemblance, both in terms of just the appearance of the menu, but also the types of customization that you can choose. But I have no problem with that because I found the customization to be pretty cool. I mean, I'm not a gun nut, but it really added to the tone of Warfighter. The fact that your character, you played as these very highly trained soldiers who had the best equipment available at their disposal, and obviously the upcoming Modern Warfare game is going for that same tone. There I get a pretty sweet sniper kill. So my understanding is that the weapon customization in Modern Warfare 2019 will let you choose up to 5 custom parts for each of your 2 guns. So if it's similar to Warfighter, then you'll be able to choose your muzzle, maybe, certainly the barrel type, certainly the scope or sight type, maybe magazine type, possibly the stock type. In terms of like appearance, obviously the options that you choose will be reflected in the gun's appearance, but they will almost certainly have an effect on how the gun handles. For example, choosing a shorter barrel will give you less range but more maneuverability, whereas choosing a longer barrel will give you the opposite. So it's kind of interesting to guess what types of parts you'll be able to choose from. I lost my train of thought here. So I've gone through the types of parts that you can customize. I'm sure you'll be able to have a grenade launcher, probably the underbarrel shotgun, aka the master key. What else am I gonna think here? So I've been playing Modern Warfare Remastered quite a bit. I've clocked in over 100 hours at this point. And it's only recently that I've noticed the kit options that you can choose for each gun. And some of them really dramatically affect how the gun looks. Like it makes the gun look totally different, like a different gun altogether. But it's essentially cosmetic, right? Whereas in the upcoming Modern Warfare game, the Gunsmith feature, function, mode, whatever you want to call it, will have an effect, as I've said, on gameplay, like the actual properties of the gun. Like, I'm certain range, damage, handling will be affected, but I'm wondering if Infinity Ward will actually take into account weapon weight. Like, will it make your character run faster or slower? Will he or she be able to aim down sights quicker or slower based on the weight of the weapon, the length and width and whatnot? And if they have that kind of option, how will that affect perks that normally handle that type of effect? Like, specifically, will that render aiming down sights as a perk obsolete? Same for sleight of hand or the stalker perk, you know, the one in Modern Warfare 3 and COD games going forward, where you actually move quicker while you're aiming down sight. Like, will those types of perks, weapon-based perks, be obsolete with the gun customization having an effect on gameplay? That's something that really interesting to me. I don't even know if there will actually be character-based perks, because we haven't actually seen or heard about those. Will they kind of go for a more level playing field in terms of the character-based character abilities, and the guns being more more determining in the differences between performance, besides player skill, obviously? That's something that's really interesting. One thing that stands out in my mind, in my memory from Modern Warfare, is the hybrid sights that are available. So, like, as you're seeing here, I've got the Overkill perk as my second perk. I've got the M16 as my primary and the R700 as my secondary. I like to have the assault rifle as my primary because it kind of throws people off. They can't tell that I like to snipe just based on my character's appearance. But one thing that's interesting about the warfighter scopes, hybrid scopes and sights. So imagine like the scope on this R700 having a red dot sight mounted on top of it. So if I want to switch between like long distance and medium to short distance, I could just press a button and my character like lowers his gun to look over the top of the scope and through the red dot sight. And there's also another hybrid scope in Warfighter in which like the second sight is on the side of the primary sight. So to switch between the two views, your character just rotates the gun. So that's pretty interesting. And my understanding is that these hybrid sights are actually real. Whereas the hybrid sight that's in Modern Warfare 3, the one that was kind of not really used all that often, that was fictional. In Modern Warfare Remastered game, all the parts, guns, will be fictional. So you'll just have like the generic names, like real guns, but with just generic names. So Infinity Ward is opting to not pay the licensing fees, but I think the main reason for that is just it'll give them more creativity and flexibility in terms of what they can offer and what they can come up with. But all in all, I'm pretty excited for the upcoming multiplayer reveal that's just a few days away at the time of this recording. Thanks for listening and watching.